welcome back to our channel. It's Bella here. In today's tutorial I created this makeup look for you guys, so if you want to see how I achieved the look, then just go ahead and keep on watching. To be entered in this month's giveaway, make sure that you give this video a thumbs up, make sure that you are subscribed to our channel, make sure that you hit that bell button and turn your post notifications on so that you never miss a video, and if you are located in the United States, then comment done down below to be automatically entered. So to prime my eyes, I'm using my Too Faced Born This Way concealer, and I'm just applying it all over my eyelid, and then I always blend it with a damp beauty sponge, and then I set everything in place with translucent powder. The palette that I went in with today is the Anastasia Beverly Hills x AMREZY palette. And I really think the packaging is super cute. I love how it's like pink glitter, and then this is what the palette looks like on the inside. I really love the color selection, and I've used this palette a few times and I really enjoy it. So I think I filmed 2 tutorials with this look, or with this palette, so you're going to see me using this palette in the next tutorial that I upload as well. But the first shade that I went in with is the shade OG, and it's like a really beautiful light brown matte shade, and I just put that shade in my crease as my transition shade, just going in back and forth motions. You don't have to be too precise with this eyeshadow because it's just going to act as our background shade, so we're going to go in with deeper eyeshadows after this. Next, I went in with the shade 1988, and it's a little bit of a darker matte brown eyeshadow, and I picked that up with a defined angled brush. And I like to use a defined angled brush to pretty much map out the placement of the eyeshadow, especially when you're working with black eyeshadow. You don't want to just go in with a super fluffy blending brush, because then you're just going to get that black eyeshadow all over your entire eyelid and it's just going to look a little bit messy. So that's why I like going in with a really precise brush, and the placement that I like is a little bit above my actual crease, so that when I open my eye you can see the shades in my crease whether my eye is open or closed, if that makes any sense. And then I went back into the shade OG with a fluffy blending brush, the same one that we went in with our transition shade, and I just went in back and forth motions and circular motions. And if you're doing the angled brush technique that we always do, you want to make sure that you're going back and forth between the shades before you layer up and go in with the black eyeshadow. So I did go back into that 1988 shade, build it up a little bit more, and then go back into the transition shade, and I did do that a few times. Next, I went in with the shade BK, and it's a matte black eyeshadow, and I picked that up with an even more defined angled brush, and I pretty much put that line directly over top of that previous matte brown eyeshadow that we applied, and I really like to make that line super crisp. And because we already went in and built up the crease, it's going to be super easy to blend that black eyeshadow out. But like I said previously, I am going to go back and forth a little bit, build the crease up to the darkness that I want, and then blend it out to the blendedness that I want. I know some people like their crease super blended to where there's no definition, it's just blended colors in the crease. I personally like to have that definition so you can still see like a line, but it's definitely super blended and you can't see where it starts or stops. So as you guys can see, that eyeshadow is blended on the bottom underneath that line, and it's also blended on top of that line as well. So that's pretty much how I like to have my crease, and it's just personal preference, up to you guys how much you want to build that up and blend it out. And next I went into the shade 1988 once again, and I actually picked this up with a flat shader brush, and I started to put this right beneath that black line, and I also dragged it into my crease a little bit too, just to blend out that black line a little bit more. And I just pretty much put that on the upper lid area from inner to outer corner, just because I feel like sometimes when you just go straight in with black eyeshadow, it can get really messy really quickly. And then I went back into that matte black eyeshadow and I started to put that all over my lid, and I did use that same flat shader brush that I used with the brown eyeshadow, and I pretty much started at the base of where my lash line is, and I slowly worked my way up, blending that black eyeshadow into that matte brown eyeshadow that I previously applied. Next, I went into this pressed glitter in the palette, and this was actually my first time using an ABH pressed glitter in a palette. I just haven't really been drawn to this type of texture of an eyeshadow. I would just rather go in with a glitter, but I actually really enjoyed the way that it stayed on my eye and the way that it applied as well. I was actually very, very impressed, and I pretty much picked up the eyeshadow with my brush, and then or the pressed glitter with my brush, and then I sprayed it with Fix Plus and then applied it. So I definitely recommend picking the pressed glitter up with your brush first, because if you spray your brush first, it's gonna not pick up as much product. So I found that that technique really worked for me. And then I went in with our Shop Sofie Bella lashes, and I'll always leave a link in the description box down below if you guys want to check out the styles that we currently have in stock. They are selling pretty quickly, so if you have a style that you like, definitely make sure to check it out. I actually went in with the style Barbados just because this is such a dramatic eye look. I wanted to use a more dramatic lash just to pair it with the look. And you definitely want to apply mascara before applying the lashes, because you don't want to put any product on your lash. Otherwise, you will only get a few uses out of them. I find that I can get at least 20 to 30 uses out of my lashes because I don't apply any product except for lash glue to the lash band. And then moving on to the lower lash line, I went in with the shade OG, and I just started to apply that from inner to outer corner on my lower lashes just to really start to build up that lower lash line. And next I went in with the shade 1988, and I started to add depth, and I pretty much applied this shade super close to my lash line, just going in back and forth motions. And you definitely want to go back and forth between the transition shade and the darker shades a few times, like I said with the crease. We don't always show us going in 2 or 3 times to blend it and then add more, blend it and then add more, just because it's super repetitive. But I definitely want to start telling you guys to do that because it just makes such a big difference. And then here you see me going in with the transition shade before I add more depth, because you want to blend as you go. You don't want to just add a whole bunch of dark eyeshadows and then it's going to be a struggle to blend it out. So that's definitely a major tip. And now here you see me adding the black eyeshadow. And I used a very flat defined brush, and I tried to get it as close to my lash line as possible. And then I went in to that first transition shade once again. And I just went in back and forth motions just to really buff out that black eyeshadow and make sure that there's no harsh edges, just to get the most blended look. And I really love how this look turned out. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys enjoyed it. The very last thing that I did was I applied some mascara to my lower lash line. And this is the finished look, guys. I really hope you enjoyed watching. If you did, please make sure to give this video a big thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the post notification bell and comment down below if you live in the United States. Like I said before, we're going to be picking the giveaway winner for this month very soon, so make sure that you are entered if you are living in the US. And yeah, thank you guys so much for all of your love and support, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!